earlier I said it's really scary that everything is made overseas. Here's why it's scary. China has manipulated their currency weaker, the Chinese yuan, on purpose since the early 2000s. This was done to make their goods more attractive to import into other countries. If the Chinese government did not manipulate their currency all of these years, which is actually really looked down upon amongst Chinese communities, if you weren't aware, there's actually documentaries on this on YouTube. Whoops. Yeah, there's tons of documentaries. I think like 10 years ago, I watched a really good one. It might have been Vice or something. And they interview hardworking Chinese people. And they're just so fed up with their low living conditions because the government is purposefully keeping their currency weak. And if the Chinese government didn't manipulate the currency weak, the yuan would actually be valued way higher today in the world than it is now. They would likely have one of the strongest currencies in the world. But China doesn't want that. Why? Yeah, their citizens and Chinese business owners want a stronger currency, but the Chinese government doesn't want it. They don't want a strong Chinese currency because they are playing a game too. Everyone's saying Trump is a bad man. Oh my God, tariffs. What about China? Where are people? How come I don't hear anyone outside of China saying, oh my God, China, bad man? They are, I don't want to say making their people suffer because that's a bit polarized of a statement, but they know that if the Chinese currency rose as high as it would naturally be through the power of the free market, if it got up to even the top 5 of world currencies, that goods from China would become way too expensive. And if goods from China are too expensive, then no one is going to buy it. No country is going to import Chinese goods. No business is going to hire Chinese factories to manufacture their products for them. And as a result, China would lose a lot of trade with other countries, even everyday people. I'm talking regular citizens around the world in other countries. They would not buy products made in China because they would simply be too expensive. Like Temu and Shein and AliExpress would not be a thing. Just think about that. Temu, Shein, AliExpress, and things like those exist because China manipulates its own currency to be weak on purpose so that you get addicted to Temu and Shein and AliExpress, so that you buy crap from China. So they do this on purpose. Because if they just let their currency be traded on the free market, stuff made in China would be more expensive than you buying something at the mall. It would be more expensive than you buying something local. Is this all making sense? Like, who gets this? Let me know. Is this new information to you? Is your mind expanding? Or did you know this? Just let me know. Did you know China manipulated its currency weaker downwards on purpose for all the reasons I just stated? Yeah, very true, and has been for so long. It's true since the early 2000s. Yep. First time Iron has heard it, Sky didn't hear it, Dory did. Jane didn't. Yeah, so fascinating. You do enjoy buying goods from Temu. Yeah, Janet, it is a strategy. And again, I know this is really meaty. It's really chunky. I'm going really deeper than I usually do in these calls, but I had to learn this while I was trading Forex because I had to understand what is affecting what. Like, why are currencies moving in this way? And this is the rabbit hole I went down. Sky, isn't it so eye-opening now that you understand? Like, the biggest takeaway for me was, oh, I know, sorry, this is going to sound really ignorant, but it's like, oh, so China isn't a shithole? I know, that's terrible, but it's like, all that time, I thought China was a shithole. Like, no one wants to live in China. China is only good to, like, make stuff. And, like, even when they make stuff, it's low quality. But that's not actually the case. It's actually pretty good quality. And the Chinese government just is intentionally weakening their own currency so that, I mean, it's a tactic. It's to get trade, right? It's to increase exports. Everyone knows China for being producers. And it's kind of like when you see it that way, you can see why Trump is like, no, like, screw that shit. I want that for America. Like, why is China the producing powerhouse? Why can't America be the producing powerhouse? Iron, I always buy Shein. Crazy, right, Victoria? Yes, Carrie, I agree with you. So, gosh, I have so many notes here. Yeah, that's why Trump wants to follow suit. So, here's one of my theories. It's scary because since I learned this about a decade ago, my tin hat theory is China is going to get to a point where 90%, maybe even more, 95% of the world's goods depends on China to create it. And when that criteria is satisfied, China is going to stop the manipulation of their currency. Just take that in. That's my theory. When everyone depends on China, they're going to let loose. Then they are going to let the free market decide what the yuan is worth. Then you'll be able to trade it on the market. And then we will be truly screwed because the yuan is going to be worth a lot. Then what are we going to do? Where will we get our stuff made? When everyone has moved their manufacturing overseas, over to China, and no country has plants and factories left, and China makes everything, they have the skill, they have the expertise, they have the know-how. Imagine no one else even has the knowledge of how to build a plant, how to run a plant, or how to manufacture goods. What the heck are you gonna do now? When you depended on China to make everything for you? How long is it gonna take you to build a factory? If you even have the capital to do that in your home country. Do you have the knowledge how to run it or create the machines or make the product on the assembly line? That is the black hole that's scary to me. Like, in that instance, China really has the upper hand here. And I think so many people are missing that because they don't even have the knowledge of this alone to even think that. Yes, Carrie. Yeah, same in Canada. Yes. Yeah. And that's also what Trump doesn't want, right? Everything's sensical and logical to me, but you got a lot of loud, ignorant, unwise people on social media who think he's just a dumbass trying to piss people off and ruin small businesses. And he wants to ruin small business owners and wipe out the middle class. No, I do not buy into that. Let me put it this way. I know some of you have mentioned this. I think Carrie, Michelle, Janet. So, think of this. People are mad, and maybe they have a right to be, because they are a small business and all the goods they get made in China have now increased by 50% in price. So, all this time, as a business owner, you've been able to take advantage of lower costs. You got to buy stuff dirt cheap and sell high, which is great. That's fine, right? That's the name of the game. The whole concept of running a business is buy low and sell high. But the undeniable fact is, sourcing from China, getting things made in China, you were only doing this because of the massive profit margins that you got from doing that, as opposed to sourcing your product at home or making your product in your home country. Ask anyone why they didn't choose the manufacturer in America to produce their goods. They're going to tell you it's because it's cheaper in China. And the reason why it's so cheap to manufacture and source from China is because it's mainly slave labor in the first place. So that's a whole nother bucket of worms, if you want to go in that direction. But that's what I wanted to say in response to business owners who are crying victim. I get it. I understand the plight. I understand it sucks, but let's be real. You chose China because it was the cheapest option for you. More money in your pocket, right? So you can make more money. You chose China because it equals more profit for you. And that's fine. There's no judgment. It's the same with me. I had multiple businesses where I got products manufactured in China. My affirmation cards, hey, guess what? I hired a Chinese card printing factory to make it for me. I sent them the designs. They print it for me. Amazing, beautiful, love it. But I chose them versus a card printing factory in Canada or USA because it was cheaper. It's the name of the game. And so, we are taking advantage of cheap products, which are made cheap to us due to slave and child labor. And, again, China's downward manipulation of its own currency. I think I have another one here. Oh, no, I thought I did. If you put why does China, there we go. Why does China devalue its currency? There you go. Lowered the price of its exports and gained a competitive advantage in the international markets. You open any of these and it's just gonna confirm everything I said. So yeah, to business owners crying victim, you've actually been benefiting this whole time. You got to take advantage of an incredible loophole made possible by the Chinese government. So you're not really the victim. You've been able to take advantage of this. So that's my thoughts.